Hey there, welcome back to Two No Stories. Hope you're doing great today. Let's jump right into the story. Ryan Carter had always believed that love, trust, and commitment were the foundation of a strong marriage. For years, he thought his relationship with Vanessa was just that: solid, unbreakable, and built to last. But, as it turned out, his marriage was a lie. And the woman he had once loved? She had already chosen someone else long before he even realized there was a problem. Ryan and Vanessa had met at a tech conference in San Francisco 12 years ago. At the time, he was a rising software engineer, working long hours at a promising startup, and she was an ambitious real estate agent, full of energy and charm. From the beginning, everything about Vanessa felt perfect. She was smart, funny, and stunningly beautiful. She carried herself with confidence, always knowing the right thing to say, always lighting up any room she walked into. Ryan had been immediately drawn to her, captivated by the way she made him feel like the most important person in the world. After dating for 3 years, they had a beautiful wedding in Napa Valley, surrounded by family, friends, and a life full of promise ahead of them. For years, Ryan truly believed he had won the lottery with Vanessa. She was supportive, caring, and never made him doubt their relationship. They had built a life together in Austin, Texas, a spacious suburban home, weekend getaways, and financial stability that allowed them to live comfortably. Ryan worked hard to ensure they had everything they needed, trusting Vanessa with their finances, supporting her career in real estate, and giving her the freedom to chase her dreams. He thought they were happy. But happiness was a dangerous illusion, because behind his back, Vanessa was changing, and she was no longer the woman he married. The first signs were subtle. At first, Ryan had barely noticed when Vanessa started spending more time at the gym. She had always been into fitness, but after their 5th wedding anniversary, something had shifted. She became obsessed. She started waking up at 5 a.m. for workouts, skipping meals, and spending hours at the gym even after work. Ryan had admired her dedication, even encouraged it. He had no problem with her wanting to be healthier. But something felt different. It wasn't just about getting in shape, it was about something else. Then came the clothing changes. She started wearing tighter dresses, shorter skirts, and more revealing outfits, things she had never worn before. She spent hundreds of dollars on new lingerie, but Ryan never got to see her in it. And then, the worst part. She started pulling away. Ryan had always been a patient man, but even he couldn't ignore how Vanessa's behavior had changed toward him. She stopped initiating intimacy. She would turn her back to him in bed, claiming she was too tired after her workouts. Whenever he tried to plan a romantic dinner, she always had an excuse: a work meeting, a networking event, or another gym session. At first, Ryan assumed it was just a phase, maybe stress from her career. But deep down, a nagging feeling of doubt started to creep in. One night, Ryan brought it up over dinner. "You've been so busy lately," he said, trying to keep his voice casual. "I feel like we barely spend time together anymore." Vanessa barely looked up from her phone. "I've just been really focused on myself. I needed a change." "A change?" Ryan frowned. "Is something wrong?" Vanessa sighed, finally putting her phone down. "Ryan, I just feel like I lost myself for a while. I needed to do something for me." Ryan nodded slowly. "I get that, but it feels like you're pulling away from us." Vanessa gave him a forced smile. "Don't be silly, everything's fine." Ryan wanted to believe her, but he couldn't shake the feeling that she was lying. As months passed, Vanessa's obsession with the gym only grew stronger. She wasn't just working out, she was immersed in that lifestyle. She started posting selfies with her trainer, Jared, on social media, captioning them with things like, "Pushing myself harder than ever. Couldn't do it without the best trainer." The name Jared kept coming up in conversations. Jared this, Jared that. Ryan had met the guy once, a typical gym junkie, always flexing his muscles, constantly posting thirst traps. At first, Ryan didn't think much of it, but then he noticed something disturbing. Whenever Vanessa talked about Jared, she had that look, the same one she used to have when she talked about Ryan. And suddenly, everything made sense. One night, Ryan was working late when Vanessa came home past midnight. He had already fallen asleep on the couch when she snuck through the front door, tiptoeing toward the bedroom. "Vanessa," he called groggily. She froze. "Hey," she said quickly, forcing a smile. "Didn't mean to wake you." Ryan rubbed his eyes. "Where were you?" "At the gym," she said too quickly. Ryan sat up. "Until midnight?" Vanessa hesitated, then shrugged. Lost track of time. Ryan's stomach tightened. He wanted to believe her, but his gut told him something was very, very wrong. The next day, Ryan decided to test something. When Vanessa left for work, he checked the GPS history on their shared car. His hands shook when he saw the results. Vanessa hadn't been at the gym that night. She had driven to an apartment complex across town. The name of the resident. Jared. Ryan felt his blood turn to ice. This wasn't just a suspicion anymore. This was the beginning of the truth. And that truth, it was going to destroy everything. Ryan Carter had always trusted Vanessa. For 10 years, he believed their marriage was built on love, loyalty, and honesty. But now, as he sat alone in his home office, staring at the GPS history on their shared car, his hands trembled with rage. Vanessa hadn't been at the gym that night. She had driven across town to an apartment complex, and not just any apartment. It belonged to Jared, her personal trainer, her supposed friend. The same man she couldn't stop talking about. Ryan felt a slow, simmering fury build inside him. This wasn't just his imagination anymore. It was real, and he was going to find out just how deep this betrayal went. Ryan sat at the dining table the next morning, drinking his coffee, watching as Vanessa rushed to get ready for work. She moved quickly, slipping into a form-fitting dress, her hair and makeup perfectly done, which was strange considering she usually didn't put in this much effort for a regular workday. He took a deep breath. Time to test her. "Busy day today?" he asked, keeping his tone casual. Vanessa barely glanced at him as she adjusted her heels. "Yeah, showing a few houses, meeting a client for lunch, then heading to the gym." Ryan nodded, hiding the sting of anger in his chest. "Which gym?" She finally looked at him. "What do you mean?" Ryan shrugged. "You usually go to the one near downtown, right? Or have you started going somewhere else?" For a split second, her expression faltered. Then she forced a fake laugh. "Of course, I go to the downtown gym, babe. Why?" Ryan stared at her. She was lying, and she had no idea that he already knew the truth. Ryan knew that confronting her now would be a mistake. Vanessa was too clever. She would gaslight him, twist his words, make him feel like he was being paranoid. So instead, he played dumb. And for the next 2 weeks, he started tracking her movements. Every morning, he would check the GPS history on her phone. Every night, he would go through her call logs when she was in the shower. What he found made his stomach churn. Multiple calls to Jared's number, some lasting over an hour. Text messages deleted, but timestamps revealing late-night conversations. Vanessa's gym check-ins were inconsistent. Some nights she never even showed up. And worst of all, every Tuesday and Thursday evening, her car was always parked at Jared's apartment complex. She wasn't just cheating. She had been doing it for months. Ryan needed undeniable proof. So he did something he never imagined he would do. One evening, after Vanessa left for the gym, Ryan followed her. He stayed a few cars behind, careful not to be noticed. His heart pounded as he watched her take the exact route he expected, right toward Jared's apartment. She pulled into the parking lot, sat in her car for a moment. Then, as if she had done this 1,000 times before, she casually stepped out and walked inside. Ryan felt his entire world collapse. This was it. The undeniable, inescapable truth. His wife was sleeping with another man, and she had never planned on stopping. Ryan drove home that night, gripping the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles turned white. By the time he walked into the house, his body was shaking with rage. But instead of lashing out, instead of screaming at Vanessa when she got home later that night, he said nothing. When she kissed his cheek and said, "I had a great workout," he smiled back. "That's great, babe," he said softly, because now he had a plan. She thought she had won. She thought he was clueless. But what she didn't know? Ryan was about to take everything from her, and when he was done, she wouldn't even know what hit her. Ryan knew that exposing Vanessa right away would be too easy. She needed to feel the consequences slowly. So he started with her finances. He removed her name from all joint accounts. He canceled their shared credit cards. He redirected all his direct deposits into a separate account, one she had no access to. He spoke to his lawyer, initiating divorce proceedings quietly. Vanessa still had no idea. She thought she was untouchable. But Ryan was about to shatter that illusion. 2 weeks later, the cracks started to show. Ryan sat at the kitchen table reading a book when Vanessa stormed in, her phone in hand. "Ryan," she snapped, "did you change the bank passwords?" Ryan looked up, pretending to be confused. "What do you mean?" Vanessa sighed dramatically. "I just tried to buy something and my card got declined. Then I checked our account and my name isn't even on it anymore." Ryan tilted his head, feigning concern. "That's weird," he said. "Maybe you should call the bank." Vanessa stared at him. Something in her expression shifted. For the first time, she looked uncertain. She opened her mouth as if to say something, then closed it again. Because deep down, she knew something was very, very wrong. From that moment on, Ryan watched as Vanessa slowly unraveled. She became restless, anxious, and constantly checking her phone. Her late-night outings became more frequent, as if she was trying to reassure herself that everything was fine. But Ryan knew. She could feel the power shifting. And soon, she was going to lose everything. Because Ryan wasn't just going to leave her, he was going to ruin her. And Jared? That man was about to regret ever touching another man's wife. Ryan Carter sat in his office, the glow of his laptop screen illuminating his face. The house was silent except for the occasional sound of Vanessa's soft footsteps upstairs as she got ready for another late-night workout. It had been 3 weeks since he had confirmed her affair. 3 weeks of pretending not to know. 3 weeks of playing the perfect, oblivious husband. And now he was ready to destroy her. Ryan knew that confronting Vanessa too soon would be a mistake. Cheaters were masters of manipulation. If he accused her now, she'd twist the story, gaslight him, make him seem like the paranoid husband who didn't support her personal growth. So instead, he built his case. He hacked into their home security system, accessing footage of Vanessa sneaking back in late at night when she thought he was asleep. He installed a GPS tracker on her car, confirming her frequent trips to Jared's apartment. He cloned her phone, giving him access to deleted text messages, where she sent messages like, "Oh, I wish I had met you before Ryan. Oh, he's so boring compared to you. Oh, I can't wait to see you tonight. I told Ryan I was working late." Ryan's fingers tightened into fists when he read those. She mocked him. She laughed behind his back. She thought she was untouchable. She had no idea that her downfall was already set in motion. Ryan wasn't just going to leave Vanessa. He was going to make sure she left with nothing. He started with their finances. He drained their joint savings, moving the money into an account under his name only. He removed her access to credit cards, ensuring that her lavish shopping sprees would come to an abrupt halt. He secretly met with his lawyer, starting the divorce process quietly, making sure she wouldn't see it coming. He cut off her access to their home equity line, which meant she couldn't refinance or pull money from their house. Within a matter of days, Vanessa was financially trapped, and she had no idea yet. Ryan didn't just want to leave her. He wanted to destroy the image she had carefully built. So he devised a plan that would ensure she could never recover from this. The key? their anniversary party. Vanessa had insisted on throwing a party for their 7th wedding anniversary, inviting friends, family, and even some of her real estate clients. Ryan had agreed enthusiastically. Little did she know, the party wasn't going to be a celebration of love, it was going to be a funeral for her reputation. Ryan wasn't going to let Jared walk away unscathed either. That arrogant meathead gym trainer thought he could sleep with another man's wife and not suffer any consequences. Ryan had other plans. He found out Jared was illegally selling steroids to gym clients. He contacted Jared's gym owner, anonymously providing proof of drug dealing and inappropriate relationships with female clients. He swapped Jared's testosterone boosters with estrogen pills, ensuring that his prized physique would soon betray him. Jared was about to lose his career, his reputation, and his self-image, all in one devastating blow. And Vanessa. She was about to watch it all happen in real time. The house was packed. Over 50 guests filled the living room, sipping champagne, laughing, completely unaware of what was about to unfold. Vanessa moved through the crowd, beaming, playing the gracious wife and hostess. Ryan stood beside her, smiling, pretending, waiting. Then, at exactly 8:30 p.m., Ryan clinked his glass, signaling for everyone's attention. "First of all," he began, his voice smooth and confident, "thank you all for coming tonight to celebrate our 7th anniversary." The guests clapped, cheering. Vanessa smiled proudly. She had no idea she was 5 seconds away from her life imploding. Ryan turned to her, still smiling. "And Vanessa, I want to say how grateful I am for you," he said. "You've been such a dedicated wife. Always busy, always working late." Vanessa froze. Something in Ryan's tone had changed. "That's why," Ryan continued, "I put together something special. A little highlight reel of what you've been up to lately." The TV screen behind him lit up. And then, the footage played. Gasps filled the room as Vanessa appeared on screen, walking into Jared's apartment, kissing him passionately, texting him late at night. The room went silent. Vanessa's face drained of color. Her mother covered her mouth in shock. Her boss, a well-respected real estate investor, immediately turned and walked out. Vanessa tried to speak, but no words came out. Ryan simply took a deep breath, then turned to face her directly. "You lied to me," he said, his voice eerily calm. "You disrespected me, and you threw away everything we built for a guy who can't even spell commitment." Laughter erupted in the crowd. Jared, who had just arrived at the party, turned bright red. Ryan turned to him. "And you," he said, grinning, "you're about to have a very bad day." At that exact moment, Jared's phone buzzed. He pulled it out, his face twisting in horror. "You're fired," from his gym. Then another text. His steroid supplier was arrested and was now naming clients. Then a third text. His bank account was frozen due to a fraud investigation. Jared's entire life collapsed in real time. Ryan watched as Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. "Ryan, please," she whispered, reaching for his hand. I made a mistake." Ryan chuckled. "No," he said. "You made a choice." Then, in front of everyone, Ryan took off his wedding ring and dropped it into his champagne glass. A symbolic end to their marriage. Vanessa collapsed onto the floor, sobbing. Jared stormed out, humiliated. Ryan. He simply picked up his drink, took a sip, and walked away, never looking back. Ryan Carter had spent weeks meticulously planning his revenge. Every move was calculated, every action was precise. He had anticipated every possible response, ensuring that Vanessa and Jared's downfall would be complete. Now that the anniversary party disaster had detonated like a well-placed bomb, it was time to ensure that the wreckage would be permanent. This wasn't just about exposing them. It was about making sure they couldn't recover, and Ryan was just getting started. The morning after the public humiliation, Vanessa was still in shock. Ryan knew this because, despite her betrayal, she still tried calling him. He didn't answer, but she left voicemails. Ryan, please, we need to talk. I messed up, but we can fix this. I can't believe you humiliated me like that. How could you do this to me? Please, just give me one more chance. We were supposed to be forever. Ryan listened to them with a smirk, then deleted every single one. Vanessa was spiraling. Her family had disowned her after seeing the evidence. Her friends refused to answer her calls. Her boss fired her, stating that her personal scandals were bad for business. Within 48 hours, Vanessa had gone from a well-respected woman to an outcast. Ryan, he was just sitting back, watching it all unfold. Jared, on the other hand, had no idea what was coming next. Yes, he had been humiliated at the party. Yes, he had lost his job and his reputation. But that wasn't enough. Ryan wanted to bury him completely. So he made two final moves. Through his lawyer, Ryan filed a civil lawsuit against Jared for alienation of affection, a legal claim that, while rare, was still valid in certain states. The suit argued that Jared had knowingly pursued a married woman, causing emotional distress and financial damages. Jared now faced tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees, and his gym's insurance company refused to cover it. With no income, no savings, and no way to fight back, he was drowning within days. Ryan had already tipped off the authorities about Jared's illegal steroid sales. Now it was time to finish the job. Ryan's anonymous report led to an official investigation. Former clients started coming forward, revealing that Jared had not only sold performance-enhancing drugs, but also engaged in inappropriate relationships with female clients. By the end of the week, Jared was permanently banned from working in fitness. He was facing criminal charges. His professional career was over. Ryan smiled as he read the news articles. Vanessa had lost everything. Jared had lost everything. And neither of them even knew that Ryan had orchestrated it all. Ryan expected Vanessa to disappear in disgrace, but instead, she made one last move. She showed up at his office. Ryan had just finished a meeting when his secretary knocked hesitantly. "Mr. Carter, your wife is here." Ryan sighed, leaning back in his chair. "Ex-wife," he corrected. "Should I send her away?" Ryan thought about it. Then, with a smirk, he said, "No. Send her in." The door opened and Vanessa stepped inside, looking nothing like the confident woman she had once been. Her eyes were red, her hair was messy, and she looked exhausted, as if she hadn't slept in days. Ryan said nothing, just leaned back, arms crossed, watching her crumble. "Ryan," she started, her voice breaking. "Please." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "Please. What?" She let out a shaky breath. "I know I hurt you. I know I was stupid. But I don't know where else to go." Ryan tilted his head. "That's not my problem." Tears welled up in her eyes. "You don't understand. I have nothing. No money, no job, no home. My family won't talk to me. You ruined my life." Ryan chuckled. "No, Vanessa. You ruined your own life. I just let everyone see it." Vanessa broke down completely, sinking into the chair across from him. "Please, Ryan," she whispered. "Just one more chance." Ryan leaned forward, staring directly into her tear-filled eyes. "You want another chance?" he asked. She nodded frantically. "Yes, I can change. I made a mistake, but I love you. I always have." Ryan smirked. "Then you should have thought of that before you slept with your trainer." He stood up, walking to the door. "Vanessa, I want you to listen very carefully," he said, his voice turning ice-cold. "I am done with you. You are nothing to me now." Vanessa sobbed into her hands. Ryan opened the door. "Now, get out." Vanessa stared at him, broken and defeated, but he felt nothing. She wasn't his problem anymore. And with that, Vanessa Carter walked out of Ryan's life forever. After everything, Ryan expected to feel anger, regret, maybe even sadness. But all he felt was peace. He had taken back control. He had exposed the truth, and he had won. A few months later, Ryan was at a business conference when someone caught his eye. A woman standing near the bar, laughing with a group of colleagues. She was stunning, but it wasn't just her looks. She carried herself with confidence, radiating an energy that was magnetic. Ryan grabbed a drink and walked over. "Hi," he said, smiling. She turned to him, her blue eyes meeting his. "Hi," she said back, smirking. "And you are?" "Ryan." She tilted her head. "Ryan Carter? The guy who exposed his cheating wife in front of an entire party?" Ryan chuckled. "So you've heard." She grinned. "Everyone has." Ryan raised an eyebrow. "And what do you think?" She leaned in slightly. "I think you handled it like a pro." Ryan laughed. For the first time in years, he felt hopeful. He wasn't just moving on, he was thriving. And Vanessa? She was just a distant memory. The cool evening air drifted through the open balcony doors as Ryan Carter leaned back in his chair, sipping a glass of whiskey. The Austin skyline stretched before him, the city lights twinkling like distant stars. It had been 6 months since Vanessa walked out of his office for the last time, broken, humiliated, and utterly destroyed. And yet, not once had he regretted what he did, because justice had been served. And Ryan? He was finally free. After being exposed, Vanessa's life spiraled faster than anyone could have predicted. She lost her job in real estate. After her affair scandal became public, her reputation was shredded. No client wanted to work with someone who couldn't even keep their own life together. Her family disowned her. Her parents refused to take her in, embarrassed by what she had done. Even her siblings, who had once supported her blindly, stopped answering her calls. She burned through her savings within months. Without Ryan's financial backing, she struggled to keep up with the lifestyle she had grown accustomed to. One evening, Ryan got a call from a mutual friend. "Dude, you won't believe this," the friend chuckled. Ryan smirked. "Try me." Vanessa was spotted working as a receptionist at a low-end apartment complex. Ryan laughed, shaking his head. From selling million-dollar homes to answering calls in a rundown leasing office? Poetic justice. But while Vanessa was barely surviving, Jared was dealing with his own personal nightmare. The steroid scandal ruined his career. His name was blacklisted from every gym in Texas after clients exposed him for selling illegal substances. His body was betraying him. Thanks to Ryan's little switch with his supplements, Jared started gaining weight, losing muscle mass, and dealing with unwanted hormonal changes. His finances were in ruins. The lawsuit Ryan had filed left him drowning in legal fees. One night, Ryan received an anonymous tip from someone at Jared's old gym. "He's working as a janitor now," the message read. Ryan smirked, picturing Jared scrubbing floors instead of flexing in gym mirrors. It was the perfect ending for a man who thought he was untouchable. One afternoon, Ryan was in his office when his phone buzzed with an unknown number. He debated letting it go to voicemail, but something told him to answer. "Hello?" There was a long silence before a voice he hadn't heard in months spoke. "Ryan, it's me." "Vanessa." Ryan rolled his eyes, leaning back in his chair. "What do you want?" She let out a shaky breath. I need to see you." Ryan smirked. "That's not happening." "Please," she begged. "I don't have anyone else." Ryan exhaled sharply. "Let me get this straight. You cheated on me, lied to me, and then laughed behind my back. And now that you have nothing, you expect me to save you?" Vanessa started crying. "I made a mistake." "No," Ryan said coldly. "You made a choice." There was silence. Then Vanessa whispered, "I still love you." Ryan chuckled, shaking his head. "You love what I gave you," he corrected. "Not me." And with that, he hung up. Vanessa never called again, because she finally understood the truth. Ryan Carter was done with her. With Vanessa out of his life, Ryan focused on himself. He traveled more, visiting places he had always put off because Vanessa had never been interested. His career skyrocketed, and with no emotional baggage holding him back, he launched a startup that quickly became successful. He started dating again, and this time, he chose carefully. One evening, at a business conference, Ryan ran into Isabella Bennett, the woman who had caught his eye months ago. She was brilliant, confident, and absolutely stunning, and, most importantly, she was nothing like Vanessa. They grabbed drinks, talked for hours, and by the end of the night, Ryan knew this was different. A year later, Ryan was at a corporate gala with Isabella when he spotted a familiar face lurking near the entrance. Vanessa. She looked nothing like the woman he once knew. Her dress was cheap, her hair was messy, and the fake confidence she used to carry was gone. She locked eyes with Ryan across the room, and for a brief moment, her face filled with hope. Ryan. He simply smirked, took Isabella's hand, and walked away. That was the last time he ever saw Vanessa Carter. As Ryan sat on his balcony that night, Isabella curled up beside him. He reflected on everything that had happened. Vanessa had played a dangerous game, thinking she could betray him and walk away unscathed. But in the end, she had destroyed herself. Ryan had won, not just in revenge, but in life. And as he looked toward the future, one thing was clear. He would never let anyone take advantage of him again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and comment below, and of course, subscribe for more.